All right, let's begin with variables. This is usually the place everybody starts when learning their first programming language. I think one of the easiest ways to understand this is to actually use Excel as a parallel. Most students, even high school students, have used Microsoft Excel at some point, or a spreadsheet like Google Sheets or something else like that. So most people understand the concept of a cell. This is some place where I can put data. So here in A1, that's the location of the cell, I'm going to put the number 10. And in A2, let's put the number 5. So the concept I want you to understand is that there's a difference between the location of this cell and the value of this cell. Think of this cell as a variable in a programming language. Programming language variables are like cells that can store a value, but they have a name. Now, in Excel, it makes it easy. It gives every one of these cells a name already by the letter, number, coordinate. Now, you may not have known this part, but you can actually rename a cell. So, for example, here, I'm going to click on A1 and change this to number 1. Click on A2 and change this to number 2. Now, when I click on this cell drop-down box, notice it says, hey, there's a couple of numbers or named cells that we have now here. And I can go to another cell and say 5 plus 5 equals, and I can reference those cells. Sorry, reference the cell names or the variable names. Number 1 plus number 2. Enter. So the formula in this cell is the result of summing these two variables. It works exactly the same with variables in a programming language. So let's go to Google Colab. I've created a new file here and I've called it Chapter 2.1. I'll use this for all the examples here in this first section of the chapter. And let's start by creating a variable name. Let's call this one greeting. And we're going to say greeting equals, and we'll use some text. World. There we go. So think of this like the Excel spreadsheet. This word here, greeting, is a variable. It's a named storage location, just like our cells here in Excel. A1 is a named storage location to put something in. And here I put a number in it. Here in my Python code, I'm putting text in it. But obviously I can put text here in Excel too. It's just the same. So the difference is, rather than referring to A1 right here, I'm giving the variable a name, greeting. Just like when I came up here and I called A1 the word number. So greeting is the location of where I want to store data, and this is the data that I'm putting in it, in my cell. All right, so far so good. Let's take the next step. If you did the previous chapter, you might remember there's a command called print. So a command, also called a function, which we'll learn about later, is something that the Python compiler can do. It's an action that it can perform, and it will return some value or result. And each function can take nothing or many things as inputs, and it can print out, or can output nothing or many things. Typically, there's an input, some sort of processing, and then an output. So the print function says, take an input, just that we put here in this parentheses, perform some process on it, and then output. So let me show you what I mean. Hit Shift Enter, and that processes the code. Notice down here we get the word Hello World printed out. So we created a variable. We gave that variable a value. We call that initializing the variable. Giving it a name, we call declaring it. Giving it a value, we call initializing. And then my next line of code, this line of code is done. It gets processed first. Then this line gets processed second. It called this command called print. And notice that text is blue. That's because Google Colab recognizes that print is a command in the Python library that has some logic or does something to it. So it takes an input here, greeting, and then it prints it out down here. Just the same right here as if in this function, I take as an input, I took two numbers, I added them up, and my output is printed back out here to the cell. That's exactly what's happening right here, but just in a different format. Declare the variable or the cell, initialize it, give it a value, and then perform some function on it, just like we did down here in Excel, and we get an output, just like we get right here. All right, let's move on. I think I hit that one to death. So let's add another line of code. Let's do one at a time here. So this is our first batch. Down here, all I want to do is change the name or change the value of a cell, or change the value of the variable. So let's go back to our greeting here. I'm going to copy. Let's learn to do some copy pasting. I'm going to copy that, come down here and paste. I've got one extra one here I don't need. Greeting hello world, print greeting. What I want to do now is declare greeting again, and this time use something a bit different. Hey world. Then let's print again. Alright, so I just want to help you understand the sequential logic here. So we declare a variable, give it a value, print it out. Then by redeclaring the variable, that allows us to give it a new value. So let's go ahead and run the code, Shift Enter. And I just want you to see what happens here is that first we print out hello world with this code right here. Then when we redeclare greeting, it erases and eliminates this original variable. However, it doesn't eliminate what was originally printed out. It keeps hello world, which was printed previously, because when I get to this line right here has been processed and it's done, and it's not going to be changed. So by changing the word or the value here of greeting, it doesn't go back and change what we printed out up here of greeting. It prints that one out like it was originally, then it prints out the change down there. So this is a little bit different from Excel, because what we're saying here, for example, let's say I have a cell down here and I say this equals this cell right here. I want to print that out. Well, right here, let's say I change the value of that cell to hey world. It changes it down here too. So in other words, in Python, this memory of what greeting used to be doesn't persist like it can in Excel. All right, let's keep going. Next, I'm going to show you what we can name variables. So here's a nice table. It's already in the book, so it's easier to show you this. So variable names can only have letters, numbers, and the underscore character. So here's all of our examples. Letters, underscore character, but it can't start with a number, but it can have a number in it, like this one right here. Here's a case where you've got invalid characters, so that doesn't work, and here we have a space, so that doesn't work. So we have some common variable naming conventions, and there's no one rule. I can name a variable anything I want. For example, I can say purple monkey dish water equals Homer Simpson. Shift Enter. Notice that nothing happened. That's because all I did was declare a variable. It's stored in memory, just like a cell would stored in memory in Excel. But because I didn't print it out, nothing happened. I have to come down here and say print purple monkey dish water. Boy, spelling and recording video at once. All right, there we go. So I printed out purple monkey dishwater. I can make this name whatever I want and it's going to work fine, except for it has to work within the rules that we just described. So let me show you one more reason or example for why variables are going to be so useful. Let's use the print command before we use it to print out a variable, greeting, right? This time, instead, I'm going to put the text directly in here. So what I'm doing is similar to, let's say I have an Excel function where instead of saying add number 1 to number 2, I'm just going to write 5 plus 10 directly in the cell, and it's still 15. This is not as dynamic because I'm not referencing cell values up here in my function. If I decide instead I want to add up 20 plus 5, and I change it here, it doesn't change it down here. I've hard-coded 10, so I have to change it here too. This is the same concept that I'm showing you here in code. If I want to say, let's print, let's say, hello world, and let's say for whatever weird reason I want to do that 5 times. All right, let's Shift Enter that. There's our 5 hello worlds. Let's say I changed my mind though and said I actually meant that to say hey world. I'm gonna have to come back here, change it in all 5 places, kind of a pain. Well, if instead I'd come up here and just created a greeting equals hello or hey world, and then come down here and instead reference the greeting. That's the idea. It's if I make changes now, I only have to make it in one place. This would be smarter if I did that. There we go, to get my hey worlds. Okay, all right, I think I beat this horse to death. One thing I want to show you, though, that may answer some of your headaches later on down the road. Let's say that you create a variable, name equals Homer Simpson. I print that out, just like we've been doing this whole time. Then I decide, you know, I don't want this variable anymore. And I want to go print name again. It printed Homer Simpson again. Why is that? Well, let me show you something else. Let me change name to names. Print. All right, now I've got an error. Here's what happened. Name, even though I deleted that code, it was still stored in memory. Now, when I say memory, where is all this being stored? It's easy to understand in Excel. It's being it's being stored here in cells. Well, with programming code, it's not storing anything in a cell on a worksheet. It's storing it in your computer's RAM or memory. So when I deleted that code names, and then I still tried to print again, when I deleted the variable declaration name, I print again, and it still prints out Homer Simpson. That's because that variable name equal Homer Simpson is still stored in the RAM of the web server of Google Cloud that's hosting this. Or if I was doing this on my local machine instead of on a website, it would be storing it in my computer's memory. But when I change it to names and then try to shift enter, I get an error. That's because a variable called names has never been declared. It's undefined. There's no value for a variable called names. So what happens here is it says we've got a name error. And it says it's right here on line 1. Well, okay, there was only one line, so that's not too hard. Names is not defined, meaning we don't find a variable called names, so how can we print it out? All right, so that's it for variables right now. I'm going to delete this, leave it looking just like you have in the book there, and let's move on to the next section.